There you are. Hello, darlings, and a very warm welcome to Monday Night Live with me, Boaty. And I have the great good fortune of getting to spend the next couple of hours with you, which is absolutely wonderful. And I'm very grateful to you all for joining me. And it's been a while. If you did that, I saw some of you this afternoon, kind of. Typical mustard emoji live stream, not paying all that much attention to the old comments. So this is the first time I've really caught up with you since Thursday. So I'm looking forward to catching up on all of your news. And when I say all of you, who have we got? Well, let's have a look, shall we? Right. First cab off the rank is Trace, the Greenwood, who says, "Evening all. Loving the revamped cover pic." Oh, I'm glad you like that one. Oh God. Well, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know this song. Woo-ah! Your sex is on fire. The new pick, bottom right, again from Trace. Jimmy Quinn is with us, evening, Boaty and all. Points of order for this meeting, says Trace, in capital letters, so you know she means it. 1, freeze your wine. Yeah, a little bit early for that, yeah. 2, change the chat to all comments. Done that, Trace. Did that before we started. Number 3. God, that's nice. That's really nice. Sometimes we forget just how nice the simple things are. Nice, cold, iced water when you're thirsty. What a fabulous thing. Baked beans on toast when you're cold and hungry. Another fabulous thing. I'm really enjoying this water. I'm going to have another slurp. That's really good. Check the dinner situation. The dinner situation is in hand, darlings. I have got... Bloody hell, water's making me burp now. I have got for my supper staff curry, but Istanbul staff curry. It's in there. I'm looking forward to that very much. And number 4, don't freeze your wine. So number 1, freeze your wine. Number 4, don't freeze your wine. Somebody remind me at about the 10:30 mark to pop the old wine into the freezer. But thank you for that, Trace. Thank you for realizing that this ship is somewhat rudderless and for taking charge of this thing, whatever it is. It's what it needs. It needs a forceful lady chap to take charge of the situation and control me and them and the whole kit and caboodle. Good evening. My little perfectly polished headlight says Barry Scrotter. And yeah, that's quite a relevant thing if you've been watching the old daily diaries. Joe is here, Cars with JC. Joe has had, I'm sure he won't mind me sharing with you, Joe has had a somewhat trying day. So, first of all, when you have a day that is a little trying or upsetting or whatnot, then it can genuinely be really upsetting and discombobulating. So first, then, sympathies, all of our sympathies go to Joe for having had a rough day. For those who don't know, Joe got into a physical fight with an autoglass technician earlier today, this morning, in fact. And I don't know the exact details, but as I understand it, he peppered him with, I think it was a left hook and a right uppercut, and then he finished him, and then Joe finished the guy off with a roundhouse kick to the head, which, gosh, that's it's quite impressive, but frightening at the same time. But the moral of this story is, quite frankly, don't mess with Joe. And I'm certainly not going to. He's a man who gives an amazing hug. I've been the fortunate recipient of more than one Joe hug. and they are very nice, but don't get on the wrong side of him, would be my heartfelt advice. And Joe says the penis candle is the penis candle has made it to the thumbnail. It has indeed, Joe. I thought we'd ring the changes a little bit, largely because I keep forgetting what the bloody phone number is. So I thought if it's there in the title and in the thumbnail, I can't forget it too easily, can I? Oh, hello, Neil is with us. Neil Gibbons, aka the Gibbonator, who says, "Hello all." Hello, Neil. How are we tonight? Well, I can't speak for everybody, Neil, but I'm sure they will speak for themselves. I'm okay. Apart from my windy pops, I've actually had a decent day today. I really enjoyed today, and it was actually more productive than the videos might have made it seem. Although you haven't seen the videos yet, so you don't know that. Knob candle, says Dave Smith, and yes, it is indeed, or what's left of it. It's now very much a wilted knob candle, and quite frankly, I'm not sure it's going to see the night out. But there we are. Sophie is with us. Hello, everyone. Hello to you, Soph. Oh, good, Trace. Trace is better than she was the last few days. And say thank you. Had the lurgy, but much better today. That's good to hear, Trace. Neil says that knob candle isn't at full mast anymore. It certainly isn't. Oh, and Neil is advising Trace, having said that he's glad she's feeling better, he's advising her to get some more alcohol down the neck. It's a good disinfectant. Jimmy F500 is with us and says that candle is not going to last 2 hours, and I agree, it's definitely not. And I don't have any candles in reserve, so I don't know what we're going to do for tomorrow night. Well, we might have to go candleless. I know. Things we never thought we'd hear Boaty say. Number one, I love this water. Yeah, it's really nice. As I say, sometimes you forget just how good the simple things are, and that is jolly nice. Skick is with us, jolly good. It's always fun when Skick is here. Are you starting to search other avenues with the buying of cars? Skick. And I always like to be honest with you good people. You are my friends, and I believe in honesty. So I will answer you honestly, Skick. No, we're not. Hello, everyone, say Sophie. I'm finally settled into my new home. Sophie, bless you. I forgot to get back to you. Sophie was going to give me a video tour of her new home, but unfortunately, I was on my way to work when she video called me. And then I had a long night at work, and I completely forgot to message her back saying, sorry, I couldn't take your call. I was on my way to work. But I would love to have a tour, Soph, and we'll get that sorted soon. So glad you're in there. So glad you're settled. And I hope you feel safe, comfortable. I hope it begins to feel like home very soon, if it's not already. Joe says, I think Jason needs an even bigger PP candle so it will last longer. Yeah, I don't know what it is about that candle. It's just bloody hell. This is only night number 2 of the candle, isn't it? It's a 2-night candle, and only just a 2-night candle. Lord tricky chaps names. Lord Stiff Upper Lip is with us and says, hello, Mr. Boaty. Hello to you. Hello. We're in trouble. Trace is necking the wine. Oh, God help us in the next hour. It's my first night on my own, says Sophie, and it's been lovely. Oh, I'm really glad. I'm really glad about that, Soph. Your first night on your own can be a bit disconcerting, discombobulating, even bum swizzling, but it can be also empowering and wonderful. All the wonderful things that you can do. You can have a wee or a poo with the bathroom door open. That's a great thing. That is a wonderful thing about living on your own. Oh, marvelous. You can wander about the kitchen stark naked. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose if you've got the curtains drawn and the lights off or something. Dave Smith says, I tried the phone number and got a dwarf S&M chat line. Well, you should be so lucky, Dave. I mean, you've won first prize on the lottery of life there, because you could have been unlucky and got me. Joe finished the guy off. Be careful with your words, Mr. Boaty, says Neil. Neil. Oh, Neil. Ed Usher is with us, and that's a name that I don't immediately recognise. So, a very special good evening to Ed. Thank you for joining us, and you are very, very welcome. Good evening, Mr. Boaty, says Ed. I've just had a cream egg and a cigarette and a cup of tea for supper. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I thoroughly approve of that. What a great supper. I'm all in favour of that. There should be more of that sort of thing. Well done, Ed. You're going to fit right in here with us. Oh, and Ben is here, and Ben has started singing. He's the greatest. He's fantastic. Whenever there is danger, he'll be there. He's the ace. He's amazing. He's the strongest. He's the quickest. He's the best. Allegro man. I'm glad somebody picked up on that. I'm glad somebody picked up on the description that I cheekily inserted into the Mustard and Boaty Do lunch, not with Allegro Man, where it was Allegro Man just turned up as we were on our way back from. This isn't today. This was last Monday. So he sat in with us for the first half hour of lunch and told us about the backlash he'd had from actually appearing properly on Mustard and Boaty Do lunch. Oh dear. Oh dear, Dave Smith says Trace. That's Norma's speciality. And Norma is, of course, not Norma Snockers, who's a different person altogether. We might hear from Norma Snockers at some point. But Trace is talking about Norma. Oh, God, I've forgotten the name. Norman's sister. Oh, I said brother then. What's their surname? Oh God, I can't remember. All I can think of is Pitkin, and that's Barry Humphries, isn't it? And when I say Barry Humphries, I do of course mean Norman Wisdom. Yeah, that's who I mean. I know what I'm talking about, even if you don't. Butler. Trace is talking about Norma Butler. All right, you Butler. See, I knew it. I knew it. I can't do it. I can't do a Norma Butler. Or can I? Right under the rim, me lady. It's all good, says Joe. I'm a lot happier now. I'm delighted to hear it. But a bad morning indeed. Thanks, Jason. Yeah, well, I suppose getting into a rampaging fist fight with somebody that you are paying to do some work for you isn't going to make for a good morning. But I'm glad you came out on top, Joe, and I'm glad that you finished him off in a way that you should be proud of. And if we'd seen it, I'm sure we'd have enjoyed it very much. Neil, stop it. Oh, hello. Mustard in the Kitchen is here. Hello, chaps. And I should join with everybody else in saying massive congratulations to Captain Mustard, whose new channel, Mustard in the Kitchen, has hit 1,000 subscribers after a mere 3 years of existence. Yeah, it's taken Mustard 3 years to be an overnight success with his Mustard in the Kitchen channel. For 2 9/10 years, he did virtually nothing with the channel, and the channel did virtually nothing with itself. Then suddenly he started doing live streams, and within 10 days, 2 weeks, he's gone from 200 subscribers to God knows about 1,100 now. And his live streams, some of them are getting over 4,000 views. And fair bloody play to him, that's what I say. And as I told him today, he's got really rather good at the live streams. I would actually say now that he's better than me at live streaming. And I never thought I would say that because in the old days, his live streams were absolutely pants. A cringing, terrible, shameful embarrassment that still used to get better numbers than mine. So, oh well, there you are. Ed Usher says, I was also laughing at your live stream earlier. Listening to you talk about your homosexual experience made me chuckle. Um, well, hang on, Ed. I mean, just to be specific, I haven't got any homosexual experience. I was, well, not, well, it depends how you define homosexual experience. I was talking about dancing with several homosexual men, which I enjoyed very much, but I enjoyed it in a fun way. I didn't, well, I can't do, well, look, if you were watching the live stream, you'll know what I'm talking about. Basically, I was just explaining that I had danced in a very close fashion with a very gay man, with a series of very gay men, jolly attractive men too. And I didn't become remotely sexually excited, thank God. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I enjoyed today's live stream. It was funny. I feel like I'm in a Tourette's Anonymous meeting here. Knob, candle, knob, says Trace. Ben's still singing the Allegro Man song. Neil. Oh, Ben's still going with the Allegro Man song. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Jimmy Quinn says, Joe's new name is the Terminator. Yeah, well, there we are. I mean, it is very much Joe 2 Autoglass 0, isn't it? Although the first altercation wasn't physical. You know, I mean, all joking apart, it is a distressing thing. It really is a distressing thing. I suppose it depends what time. I mean, if you're going to have a fight, and I am not condoning physical violence, by the way, not in any way, shape, or form. Certainly not at my age. But fighting is more of an evening thing, isn't it? You know, evening, maybe even late night. That's why boxing matches take place in the evenings. That is when men and ladies are naturally more inclined to batter the living daylights out of somebody. Whereas Joe had to do it in the morning. And I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that, especially if it was before my coffee and toast. Because I wouldn't enjoy it then at all. Now, if it was late morning, you know, just before midday, I suppose I could enjoy it. But then, of course, Joe is an early riser. Joe is often up long before Neil, stop it. Oh, bloody hell. Joe is quite an early riser. You would be surprised at just how early. So it's perfectly possible, but that by the time of the fight, you know, Joe had had his breakfast 3 hours before and was in prime physical condition. But there we are. There we are. There we are. Oh, Ben's still going. Have you just copied and pasted that out of my video description? He's terrific. He's the greatest measuring agent in the world. Allegro Man. Can't cook a flan. He's the fastest, he's the quickest, he's the best. Allegro Man. Oh, and right, Ben's finally finished and says, evening measuring fellow flans. Sorry, fans. I wondered if anybody would get that, Ben, and you're the only one who mentioned it. Anybody who looks at my internet browsing history now is going to wonder why I was doing an internet search for the lyrics for Danger Mouse. Wasn't Danger Mouse David Jason? My fridge just made a noise like an old, quite overweight lady bending down to pick up a £5 note. So that's nice. Oh, well done, Soph. You've already done it. Good for you. I live in the sky, says Trace. I don't even need curtains for my open loo door or naked kitchen shenanigans. Oh, black. Hello, black lines. The old ones are the best ones. Here we go. I had a road rage incident with the dwarf once. He got out and shouted, I am not happy. Which one are you then? I replied, yes. Oh, dear. Greetings, one and all, says Dino Dad. Oh, hello. Sean is with us. The wonderful Sean James Cameron. Check out his channel if you haven't already. It's taken me 12 years to be an overnight success, but numbers are falling. Oh, but numbers are falling down now that spring is here. Are they? Oh, gosh. But yeah, well, maybe it's because you're having a bit of a rest, Sean. Maybe it's because you're having a bit of a rest and you're putting all of the stuff. Well, you're uploading all of your back catalogue now to the extra channel, aren't you? And second channels, in my experience, and I don't mean my own personal experience, I mean watching other people's second channels, they never quite seem to do the same numbers as the main channels from what I've seen. So Hubnut has got Hub Notes, doesn't do the same numbers. Furious Driving has got Furious Tea Break, doesn't do the same numbers. JM has got JM and Friends, doesn't do the same numbers. But, you know, I thought when I saw you'd done that, Sean, I thought that was quite a good idea. Because obviously the thing that made your channel rocket was the, oh, my candle's bleeding over onto the table. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, don't do that, candle. Oh, God, now the whole thing is stuck to the table. Oh, well, it won't hurt it, I suppose. Yeah, obviously it's the immediately pre and then post moving to Wales videos that really stormed on your channel. So it makes sense to have them as the focus of the main channel, I guess, and move everything else to the other one. In fact, I watched one of your back catalogue a couple of days ago, Sean. And it was the one where you moved into the last place that you lived in London. And I thought it was quite. I wonder how you feel, actually. I wonder how you feel when you watched it back and how it compares, or yeah, how it now compares with your experience of moving to Wales. I can't sit and I was going to say I'll put that on a plate, but I can't do that now, can I? Because it's just going to have to. It won't kill the table. The table's seen a lot worse than that, darlings, as you know. But lovely to have you with us, Sean. I've done it. I finally brokered him, says Neil. I just tapped my barometer, and that's not a euphemism. And the needle shot from mild to heavy rain. You have been warned. Oh gosh. Well, it's rained all day here, Sean. It's been a very Welsh day. So, and speaking of Welsh days, I am counting down the days until my first little adventure back home, which is going to be at least a fortnightly thing from then on. So for those who don't know, and I have banged on about it a fair bit, and I'm still trying to get all of your advice as to what should and shouldn't be in the videos and so on and so on and so on. I'm trying to write a few bits of script. I'm trying to design thumbnails, all of that sort of thing. I think I've come up with the final title. So let me run this past you guys, because you're all wonderful And you're kind enough and sweet enough to take an interest and to give me your honest and objective opinions. What do you think about this as a title for the first one? Now, the general title that I've got in mind is going to be Hiraeth, Reconnecting with My Welsh Homeland. And so that will be the general title. And then there will be episode 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. So episode 1, I thought we were talking about calling it Unplanned, weren't we? Because it turns out that's pretty much what it's going to be. We're just going to, there's only 2 fixed factors in my mind, possibly 3. One is that, well, the obvious one is the hotel where I'll be staying, because that's obviously going to be a fixed factor. I haven't booked it yet. I haven't even decided which one it's going to be yet. So I'm still toying with the idea of an Airbnb. But I think maybe for the first one, just stick to a cheap, generic Travelodge or Premier Inn or whatever. And I'm tempted to go for the one that's closest to home, which I think is going to be the Travelodge in Merthyr. Now, I've got no idea where the Travelodge in Merthyr is. It wasn't there in my day, quite obviously, but from what I can work out, it's sited on one of the newer industrial or retail parks somewhere around Merthyr. So it's hardly going to be a scenic spot, but it's Merthyr is just literally up the road from home. So it's going to be nice and close. So the hotel will be a fixed point. The other fixed point will be that the drive there will be boring. I mean, the drive there from here is going to be M1, M42, A42, A42, M42, M5, M50. That's all going to be boring, snoring. Then it gets a little bit more interesting from the end of the M50. So then you've got, well, it's all a new road now, isn't it? So you've got Monmouth and Abergavenny, and then the heads of the valleys, although it's very different than it used to be. I think they got a lot of funding from the EU back in the day and spent a lot of money on the Heads of the Valleys Road. So it's not quite the road from childhood. And the little chef has gone from Gilvern. That's a great shame. That used to be a cracking little chef. And then it's going to get really interesting when I come off the Heads of the Valley. Now, the direct route is straight down the Heads of the Valleys, dropping straight down into Gleneath as you hit the Neath Valley. I'm not going to be going that route. I'm going to be forking off the Heads of the Valleys, cutting right, heading to Libanus, and then heading literally directly through or over the middle of the beacons on the tiniest lanes you've ever seen on the way to the Family Mountain. And that is going to be the title. So episode 1 is, I'm thinking, is going to be the Family Mountain. So the full title will be Hiraeth, Reconnecting with My Welsh Homeland, episode 1 or Ep1, whatever, the Family Mountain. And we have a caller. Hold on, let me put you on speakerphone. Hello, caller.
Hi there, how are you today?
Got it, right, here we go. I'm very well, thank you, and how are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
Excellent.
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. I'm trying to work out the noise in the background there.
Oh, just watching your live video at this precise moment.
All right, okay, jolly good. Oh, right, okay. So clearly what we have here, my lovelies, is a mystery caller. So have we got any guesses? Clearly what we have here, my lovelies, is a mystery caller. So have we got any guesses? Right, it is me in the background. That's
It is indeed, it is you indeed, it is, yes.
I would know that voice anywhere, says Neil.
How would you now, Neil Gibbons? I don't think you do, dear.
Is that you, Soph? That doesn't sound like you.
It's me! It's Sophie! How are you, mate?
I'm brilliant. How are you, darling? How's the new place?
Oh, it's absolutely lovely, thank you.
Excellent. So, how many? Is this your first night sleeping there?
Yeah, it's my first night on my own.
Oh, but you've slept overnight before, just not on your own.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Has Neil been round at all?
He has. He slept 3 nights and he went back home yesterday.
Oh, sorry, I was being a little bit cheeky there.
No, it's okay. I couldn't put an accent on. I was literally shaking because I was like, shall I do it? Shall I do it? I was like, go on, just have a laugh. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Absolutely, why not? Is it mustard? Asked Dino Dad. And Trace thinks that you were channeling Babs Windsor. Wasn't as good as my Joe voice, says Neil. Oh, Neil, you've got to come on as Joe. That would be the funniest thing ever. We're all really excited for you, Soph. Your first place. Have you got everything that you need?
I'm leaving off there. I've got to do my bedroom stuff tomorrow because I'm in boxes at the moment.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Kitchen all sorted? Have you got all of your appliances, all of that sort of thing?
Yeah, we've got all the kitchen stuff. Everything's done in the kitchen now. All I've got to do is get Neil to put up the stuff for me in the living room. So my 2 side units. I've got to get a lampshade. And then just my bedroom stuff. So it's all going to plan. There's just little bits now, and then it'll be definitely done.
Oh,
but it just
brilliant.
feels like home.
Oh, that's good. That's good because I don't know. I don't think. What do you think, guys? I don't think it always immediately feels like home when you move into a new place. I suppose sometimes.
Do you know what? For a 25-year-old at my age, I didn't expect to have my own place because it was dropped on me. So it was basically like, yeah, you've got a place. We found you a place. It was like, where is it? They couldn't tell me where it was, but they always said it was a new build.
Okay.
But it wasn't a new build. It was very old. One person lives at the top and I live at the bottom, and it's quite old. It's not new, but at the end of the day, it's amazing. It's turned out like really, really nice.
Oh, that's brilliant. And when it's an older place, you've got a bit more character and history than you have with a new build.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it's probably better built as well because a lot
the walls are not the best. The walls in the living room, they're not the best. Because we've had trouble with the chimney breast when we painted it because the council painted yellow on it. And every time we painted, it was just literally stripping off. So my dad had to literally sand it all down, and obviously Neil helped as well with everything. I really appreciate what he's done. He's really worked hard on his days off. Everyone's just been amazing, putting their bit into it, to be honest.
Oh, bless him.
But no, I'm going to go because obviously you're live. I don't want to keep everybody holding on and.
Oh, I'm so glad you called in, Sophie. And we're all so happy and excited for you, my lovely.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.
Well, let us know when your housewarming party is and we'll all come down.
Definitely. I'll let you all know.
All right, darling. You take care.
All right, take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was lovely, wasn't it? That was lovely. It's one of the things that I love about our little community here is that there's quite a divergence in ages, and yet because there's a shared zeitgeist or whatever, that doesn't seem to matter. I've had a few nights away with Neil and Sophie and Joe, and I'm double there. God, that's a sobering thought, isn't it? I'm literally double their age. And yeah, doesn't seem to matter. We all just we all get on great. I mean, in fairness, there's quite a big difference in age between me and Captain Mustard as well. As you can tell from our looks, he's quite a lot older than me, and we get on really well as well. So that's all lovely. Let's get back to some messages. Where are we? Where did I get to? Right. Oh, hello. Pingu rocked up. Yo, bodacious but Boaty. Yo, Pingu. What did I miss? Did JC have a punch up? Asked Dino Dad. Oh, yeah, he got into a raving fight with an autoglass man. Yeah, went on for about half an hour apparently, but Joe finished him off in the end. Good old Joe. Check out Stig Aviation, Boaty. You will love it. I will do. It'll be hard to come off, Boaty, as it's candle wax. Oh, I'll get it off. Don't worry about that. Yeah, I've got a small lake of the stuff. Put the knob on a plate. It's too leaky now, says Trace. Oh, well, I don't think it's going to leak anymore. I think the worst is over, so we'll just let it. See, if I put it on a plate now, then the plate's going to be sitting on the wax, and that's just going to... As soon as the wax hardens, it bled over before, and I got that off. No problem at all. Just get something underneath it, get most of it off, and then you'll just get the rest off with a bit of a hot cloth. That table has definitely seen worse. Oh, Neil, I can't read that out. But yes, it has. I can't read that one either. That knob is not going to last this live stream, says Trace. It's not even going to last the first hour, is it? I mean, it was a very impressive knob to begin with, but it hasn't stood the test of time, has it? I'm looking forward to the Wales stuff, says Trace. I have no connection to Wales family-wise, and only ever went there once to Llangollen, because my dad was working there with BBC Radio back in the early 80s, so I haven't seen much of it at all. Sean says, reconnecting with my childhood in Wales. More people will be searching for Wales rather than Welsh. Childhood in Wales also plays on people searching for Dylan Thomas. Yeah, good idea. Two good ideas, actually. Yeah. Yeah, well done, Sean. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, it will pick up on the Dylan Thomas reference because that's a well-known work. And you're right, more people will search for Wales than Welsh. Good shout. Okay, as I was saying, the title, which has not been finally decided upon, has now morphed into, do you agree with the Hiraeth part, Sean? Hiraeth, reconnecting with my childhood in Wales. And then episode 1 or number 1, whatever, the Family Mountain. And yeah, there was going to be unplanned in there because it is going to be unplanned. Oh yeah, I was talking about the fixed points, wasn't I? So the one fixed point will be the route to get there, and the first bit of proper filming that I do will be on the Family Mountain. I'm not too worried about the weather. Oh, hello. Here we go. Hold on 1 second. Let me pop you onto speakerphone. Good evening.
This is Sean from the Welsh Valleys.
Indeed. Oh, there's a soothing voice for you, isn't it? How are you, Sean?
Mainly because I couldn't spell Hiraeth in the comments.
Oh, really? Do you think that's okay going in the title?
I would drop it.
Really?
Because nobody's going to be certain. No, what I've learned over the last 3 months is the more generic the title, the more views.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to have this discussion with you when I see you, but about changing your titles for everything else as well.
Oh, right. Okay.
But we can have that discussion when you when you pop up to their course and buy an ice cream.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, when we chatted on the phone, I know that most of the stuff that I've got going up and have had going up has just been a mismatch of all sorts of nonsense, really. And you're quite right, there is far too much of it. But
it's just people won't search for things like dates.
Yeah.
So I would rearrange it all and put the Boaty and the date at the end.
Okay.
Because no random person is suddenly going to search for. I wonder if there's somebody out there called Mr. Boaty.
Yeah.
And I wonder if anybody's put a video up on the 17th of February 2024.
Yeah, good point.
So it's all, and people only tend to see the first 16 characters.
Ah, yes, I did read that somewhere.
Because of mobile phones and things.
Okay, right, that makes sense. My idea with the daily diaries were that they were just going to be just a little niche in thing for the very, very regular viewers, and they were just going to so. But then over the winter, when I've just not been getting any actual content, they've become more of a thing than they were ever intended to be.
What I was actually going to suggest to you is to reduce the amount of videos you put out. Because I think people tend to forget about the audience have lives.
Yes.
And this is what I've noticed over the last fortnight. Now that the weather has suddenly got better, my views have gone down.
Have they really?
So I'm going to take, well, they're still quite 10,000 and 12,000, but they were 20,000 and 25,000.
Right, so like a 50% hit.
So I just think that because the weather's getting better, that I'm going to take the week off because I'm just exhausted from doing 4 videos a week.
Yeah.
And when I come back, I'm going to do 3 videos a week and see where that leaves me financially. I was also going to suggest to you to not only reduce the amount of videos you put out, but to actually increase the time to 30 minutes.
Right. Okay.
Just because of financially, it's better for 30 minutes rather than 10 or 15. But that could be a discussion we might want to have offline.
Yeah. The thing is really that I've managed to. I never intended this YouTube thing to go anywhere. I started it with a bit of nonsense on a whim. I became entranced by the community aspect of it. I've never, with 2 or 3 exceptions, I've never tried to make a successful video, and I've never tried to make it well. The only
this is what is interesting. I won't reveal the numbers, but me just stood by my sink, just talking about stuff in general was enough to pay the bills.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's
so people are searching for the everyday adventures of somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I used to watch a channel only because I liked his house.
Oh, okay.
So when I lived with 6 other people in London, my escapism was to watch somebody's house who I enjoyed watching.
Okay.
Now that I've got my own house, I'm starting to watch a lot of people who are into fitness because that's what I know I need to do. It's just I can't be asked to get off my own arse and go to the gym.
Well, yeah, I'm with you on that one.
So we always tend to watch somebody else's life that we possibly might want.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Aspiration.
Yeah.
But the aspiration could be a weird thing, like I want my own house with a sperm kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. When I think about what I'm watching religiously at the moment, then it's a channel called Harry's Garage.
Oh yes, because I don't watch that, but I watch Harry's Farm.
Okay.
Because he's got a farm channel and he's got the cars.
Yeah, indeed. And I love his presenting style. I like the simplicity of the videos, and the fact that even though he's doing not down to earth things, he does them in a very down to earth way. And I'm hoping to channel a little bit of that into my Welsh thing, if I can, factor in the road trip a little bit, and factor in the car a little bit, without taking away from the overall thing of what it's supposed to be. But I'm actually feeling, which is incredibly unusual for me, I'm feeling a little anxious and nervous about it, because, as I say, with the exception of 2 videos off the top of my head, the one is where I had the £70,000 Jag, and the other one was a video I did on a Land Rover. But other than that, I've just uploaded, honestly, a load of crap, and it's just
I think the nerves might come from overthinking it.
That's exactly what I'm starting to think. Yeah.
Because this video that you're going to make, you don't really have to think about, because it is following you coming down to Wales and going to visit places and saying the memories. So it is just like you're taking somebody in the car. We're going out for the day. And that's what I find, the less production I put into my videos, the more successful they are.
Yeah.
So as somebody who's worked in TV for 25 years, I've had to learn YouTube. I've got to throw all that out the window.
Yeah. Although you are still quite, you're very down to earth, and it's very fly on the wall, but you're innately quite polished and professional, aren't you? Just because of the person that you are.
Yes, but it's not as I would see. That there are other channels I see who within 30 seconds have shown 35 shots. They've got the pumping music, and they've got Whereas I think that's taking YouTube too far, and all the research says people just want to watch everyday people.
Trace was saying exactly the same thing when I was talking about plans that I had for the actual filming. She said, "Don't do that. That's not what people want on YouTube these days. They don't want polished. They don't want professional. They want personal. They want insight. They kind of want it to be amateurish but honest." And she says that's what you do anyway. So,
well, I was going to suggest you just film, well, whatever you film, but I'll help with some advice with the editing.
Oh, okay.
That's where people become a bit unstuck. Like, I'm not saying that you will do this, but if it's a 4-hour trip coming down, you can film the start. You can film a bit where you might be going, "Oh, I really need to have a sandwich," and then you film the ending. So the trip down should only really be on screen for about 2 or 3 minutes, because we know what the video is. You're going to Wales, so let's just get to Wales.
Okay.
If the first episode is 25 minutes of you in a car just going down to Wales, then you title it something else. 3-hour journey to Wales.
Yeah.
It's that thing of people know what they're going to see, and give it to them. So, but don't overthink it. Just film loads. Just film loads of stuff. Very rarely will I start the camera and I know what's going to happen.
Okay.
I'll just switch the camera on and just talk a load of bollocks, and then somehow a video comes out of it.
Okay. Okay. That will, yeah. I mean, I suppose it will be more honest and heartfelt then. And also, I don't, I don't know exactly how the emotions are going to hit me because it's
Yeah.
not, it's not like it's that long since I've been there. Um, but it's going to be different when I'm actually going there specifically to relive the past and to revive memories and so on. And that's probably going to be a little bit emotional, isn't it?
Yeah, because I'm finding that bits of the village that used to have a bit of a green on has now got a house on.
Yeah.
So I'm finding that different. But I've been here 3 months, and I can feel that I'm already involved. You know, so that I'm already here, and the novelty factor is now gone
Okay.
in a good way. Um, but that aura of that's different, that's gone now, and I'm starting to think, yes, bring on the sunshine. This winter's getting a bit too much.
Yeah, absolutely. We've I don't know what it's been like there. We've had a couple of nice days here over the weekend. I've been out and done some bits and pieces in the garden and whatnot, although it's still quite chilly.
Yes, it's extremely chilly down here. But I spend all day in the cafe. So
Happened for a while. There we are.
do.
We're back on. We're back on. That's one of my recurring fantasies. Is sometimes it's a cafe that would be a kind of cafe stroke coffee shop by day, but then a kind of
Jazz garden by night.
yeah, that kind of thing. And sometimes I think in a very small sense, and it's a nice, compact, bijou, cozy little place. And sometimes it's an old, charismatic pub with a load of room upstairs and a function room as well. And that could be like an Airbnb place and a community hangout and all
Well,
of
it's
that.
quite surprising. There are Airbnbs in the village, and I'm shocked that they're charging £180 a night.
Oh, I had a look on Airbnb for places around Gleneath,
And
and
they're full. And in fact, we've got some of these, what do you call them, pods, these glamping pods.
oh yeah.
And the guy has just had permission to put another 30 in.
Really?
So I've just seen the time. I've been on for nearly 15 minutes. Just before I go, just to be aware, when people phone in, they need to switch off the audio on their TV or the laptop.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get a cycle of noise.
Feedback loop. Yeah.
Because there's about a 10-second delay.
Yep. Well said, sir.
So okay then.
Sean, great to speak to you, and I can't wait to meet you and bugger about both of our valleys a bit.
Yeah. See you then.
Take care, mate. Bye bye now. Ah, that was nice. That was lovely. Sean, thank you very much for taking the effort to ring in. It's wine in the freezer time. There we go. We'll pop the wine in the freezer. We'll pop the water on one side. There was some good advice in there, and I would be very, very foolish if I didn't listen to the advice from Sean and all of you guys as well, because Sean has got what is now an incredibly successful channel, so he clearly knows what is working and what isn't. And you guys, you either have your own channels or at the very least you watch, and so you know what will make you watch. And as I was kind of saying to Sean, I know that I get a lot of stuff totally wrong in terms of getting views, in terms of growing the channel, anything like that. I know I get it all wrong. I know that titles are wrong. I know and I'll tell you one of the reasons why I know it. Like every other channel, I'm sure, I get a lot of mail from marketing gurus, blah, 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 blah. And they all send you screenshots of their clever software, which analyzes your videos. And it'll say things like, I had one this morning and it was saying things like title too long. I know my titles are too long. It was saying tags too short or tags missing, etc., etc., etc. So I know that I'm nowhere near optimized, but because I've only been putting out rubbish, if you like, or to put it another way, I've only been putting out stuff that is only going to really appeal. If it appeals to anybody, it'll appeal to you guys, the guys that I've got an existing relationship with. So I'm never surprised when a video only gets a couple of hundred views, because I know that it's a video that's put out there and is only going to appeal to my inner scrotum. Like the daily diaries, they were never supposed to be 20 or 30-minute jobs. They were supposed to be 2 or 3 minutes of just a little bit of tiny behind the scenes insight or whatever that couldn't go into or shouldn't go into a main video that was there just for you guys. And because I've not been putting anything else out, they've become the main focus of the channel. So I know that they need to change. But the point that I'm making is that in the 18 months to 2 years that I've been doing YouTube, with the exception of the Jaguar video and the Land Rover video, both of which have done well, and I suppose this tells the story. I made a bit of an effort with both of those, and they've done about 500 times better than any of my other videos in terms of views, in terms of watch hours, and last but by no means least, in terms of income generated. Like the Jaguar video, I won't give you the actual figures, but the Jaguar video has earned 50 times what, if not more, than one of my videos would normally earn. Don't get excited. Not a lot of money, not by any means. But this Welsh thing is going to be the first time that I've tried to do something properly, something that will have general appeal, and something that I'm really hoping that, at the very least, I'm hoping that the revenue from the videos will cover the cost of actually making the video, i.e. cover the cost of the hotel and the fuel. That's probably fairly unlikely, but hope springs eternal in the human breast. And I think Sean is right. I've been guilty of overthinking. I've been getting a bit anxious. I've been thinking this, that, and the other. And he's completely right. It's the wrong thing to do. Tracy, you've said the same thing. Others of you have said the same as well. So yeah, just do it. Take a load of footage, as much footage as possible, and be ruthless in the edit. And I'm not going to go mad planning anything. I will plan. Right, the journey, I know. I'm going to film on the mountain, and that's quite a personal thing. So it's quite right that I do that on my own. And then I think as soon as I've done the mountain bit, I'm just going to head straight off, meet up with Sean, make the most of our time together, and just see what happens. I won't plan anything else. And that will be episode 1, and then I think episodes 2, 3, 4, whatever, will then lead on naturally from whatever happens in episode 1. And if you will excuse me, darlings, I am going to pour myself a little glass of wine. Talk amongst yourselves. And it's a bit of a weird thing, really, and probably a bit silly. I mean, if you go back, then I've done telly stuff where I suppose I was literally going out to millions. I've done radio stuff where I've gone out to, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, and I've appeared a million times on stage in front of, quite large numbers of people. And I've never panicked. I've never been nervous, and I've never planned anything. I mean, okay, I suppose it's slightly different when you're a singer, because you know the music, and the lyrics to the song and whatnot, and your set list. But I never used to plan how I would introduce the show, or what I would say to the audience in between. And I didn't plan any of the telly stuff or any of the radio stuff. I was relatively young and arrogant, and just assumed that it'd be great. So why should I get nervous over a bloody YouTube bit of nonsense? What's the worst that can happen? If it bombs, it bombs. I'm not going to be any worse off than I am now. It'll be just like putting out a Boaty's Noshes video that gets 28 views. And I should also remember that I'm doing this mostly for myself. It's time. Now, this is going to sound a bit odd, but this is the first time in my life. Is it? It kind of is. It's kind of the first time in my life where I can be utterly selfish, because I'm single. And before, I've always had a partner and children to worry about. And I've been single now for the time I've been doing this YouTube channel. So I started this YouTube channel a couple of months after I kicked Chinese Madam out. And as you know, it's been a life-changing thing for me. YouTube has been a life-changing thing for me, no question. Not in terms of income or anything like that. Not in terms of becoming famous or having hundreds of thousands of views or anything like that. But it's been life-changing in terms of community, and you guys meeting all of you guys, having you guys in my life, meeting Mustard, my best friend, having all of that. That's been the life-changing thing. So, a period of time that would have been probably quite difficult for me in many ways hasn't been difficult at all. It's been a joy, and it's been absolutely wonderful. And I can't remember now where I was going to when I started this sentence. And the time that I've been doing YouTube, I've had all of the Mustard thing, I've had the yard, I've had the cars, I've had you guys, and I need, for me, whether it does any good on YouTube or not, for me, then this expression of me that is the YouTube channel, it needs to have Wales on it, and it needs to have a lot more Wales on it, because Wales is the biggest part of my life. It might not seem so because I don't live there anymore, but I promise you it is. Wales is where my heart lies, where my history lies, where everything. And quite apart from that, it's one of, if not the most fabulous places on earth. And I would like to show you that. All of my Nepali family, my immediate Nepali family and extended Nepali family, they've only been to Wales once, most of them, and that's to the Nepali Hindu temple. Sean, are you still watching? We should go there. There's a Hindu temple somewhere in South Wales, not a million miles from us, known the world over apparently, and it's an amazing experience. Are you aware of it? We should definitely go there. That would be an amazing video to make. In fact, I can think of lots of places that we should have road trips to for either one or the other of us to put out videos on. That Hindu temple would be amazing. Not that I'm Hindu, of course, but they've told me about it, and I've looked at it on the internet. And it looks extraordinary. And it's it's home in South Wales. What a wonderful place to visit. But I want to show everybody the parts of Wales that they might not know, and just how beautiful and stunning they are. I mean, the beacons, the Brecon beacons, are as beautiful as anywhere in the world, especially if you know where to look. And hopefully I do know where to look, or I will eventually remember where to look. All of those hidden spots there where I used to visit as a child. And all of the history. There's just so much. So it's well overdue. I'll stop banging on about it. I must be boring you senseless, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to dedicate at least this spring and summer to it. And, it might well become a permanent thing. I could quite happily spend the rest of my life every other week or so having a couple of days around Wales. And not just South Wales, where I'm from. Mid Wales is beautiful. Snowdonia is amazing. North Wales is gorgeous. I mean, one of my favourite places in the world is Llandudno, the Great Orme tramway, the cable cars, the longest pier in the UK, all of that sort of thing. There's so much. And I really want to see if the dynamic in the zeitgeist of the village is the way that it used to be. How much of the old ways are left? I'm trying to think how long it is since I lived in Wales, and it's not actually that long. It's probably 9 or 10 years. So it's not that long. But, and this is a big but, when I was living in Wales then, so the most recent time of living in Wales is the 2 or 3 years when I was married, 2 years, I think, where I was married but separated and lived in Wales. And then before that, then it was weekend and holidays. But I wasn't really living in Wales then. That's the thing. We had the cottage, but we used it as a weekend and holiday place. And then when I was living there, I was commuting. I was commuting to Birmingham from Glynneath 7 days a week. And, you're not really getting much Welsh life when you're spending 7 days a week commuting to Birmingham. You're driving through a bit of it. So it's not like you're getting out into the village day in and day out and, seeing old faces and old places. So really, this is going to be the first time that I've properly immersed myself back into Wales properly since I was a child. And that's what I plan to do. I plan to thoroughly immerse myself back in it, have a good old slog down memory lane, and just see how things have changed. And I bet you there will be some things that stay the same. Like if I go to chapel, if I go to Bethania or even Bethel, I bet you that hasn't changed. I bet you that hasn't changed. I don't know how many of the old faces will be there. I must dig out a post that I put on a Facebook group. I joined a Facebook group, Glynnith Memories or something like that. And when I joined, I said, "Hi, I'm so and so. Is any maybe somebody's familiar with my family? My father was Di Hughes. My grandfather was Harry Hughes, and my grandmother was Maya." And the responses I got, especially about my grandfather, who was very, very well known in the community. I've spoken a lot about my grandfather on other videos. He was, of course, my absolute hero. And some of the stories that I got back about him were wonderful. So I must dig them out, because there will doubtless be parts of the videos where I want to reference that and revisit some of the places that are mentioned. Anyway, I must stop banging on about it, because you're not going to be as interested in all of this as I am, are you? Oh, good idea, Joe. Yeah, you ring up and be Neil. Joe, have you still got the green stripe? Asked Jimmy Quinn. Mr. Stephen Parry from Port Sunlight in the Wirral, the Lesser Peninsula, says, I heard you say on one of your videos, you think you might be selling off one of your cars. Which would you pick out of the fleet to sell first? And how are you, Mr. Boaty, old chap? I'm very well. It's kind of you to ask. Which one of the fleet would I sell? The reason I mentioned potentially selling a car was quite simply to do this Welsh thing. That's going to take, it's not going to take a lot of money. It's going to take paying for a hotel room, paying for a bit of fuel, and paying for a couple of meals. But that's money that at the moment I haven't got. Because you guys know I live day to day, hand to mouth. Now, at the back of my mind, I've had the thought that if I start this Welsh thing when spring properly kicks in, then the heating bills are going to go down. And I can use the money that I save on that to pay for the bits and pieces. But that's not going to be an immediate thing. So I did talk about selling a car to raise money for that. Which one would I sell first? Well, ideally, rather than selling any of my personal fleet, I would like to sell all of the company cars and take a little bit of profit out of all of those. And that would then be enough. But there you go. I mean, the personal fleet, ultimately, I'm an old car dealer at heart. If I had the right offer on any of my fleet, then they would go. They'd probably be replaced by something else at some point. But yeah, if I got the right offer on any of them, they would go. But in terms of actively trying to sell, then the company cars would come first. Because if we were selling enough company cars, I wouldn't need to sell any of my personal cars, would I? I don't need a huge amount of extra money, my loves. I mean, realistically, what are these jollies going to cost? A night in a hotel, 60 quid, something like that. I can keep the meals super duper cheap. I'll take some equipment with me. I can, I don't have to buy expensive takeaways. I'll go to a restaurant or anything like that. I can buy some stuff from the supermarket, heat it up. That's not a problem. So it's going to be a hotel room and fuel. So what? 150 quid a fortnight, something like that. And bear in mind that I don't go to the pub, I don't eat out, I don't go on holiday, I don't do any of that. So you'd think that that's not excessive, but when you haven't got the money, it kind of is. And then I'm desperately hoping, as I say, that the videos would recoup some or all of that in terms of what they make, if I can make something that people are willing to watch, which is by no means guaranteed. Cheers, darlings, by the way, you're very good health. I agree with Sean, says Trace. Oh, hang on, back to the green stripe. Joe says, unfortunately, I do still have the green stripe, Jimmy, but it is going very soon, I can assure you. I've even been given the opportunity to have it when it's removed, so a sledgehammer might come out. Oh, dear. Trace says, I agree with Sean. Stick Hirites in the description. And yes, Sean, keywords are the key with tiles. Right, I've got a lot to learn, haven't I, darlings? Right, I'll tell you what. I'll make you all partners. You can all be partners in my non-existent YouTube business. And I'll give you all, I don't know, you can help me make this video. Help me not arse it up in the way that I will probably try to. And you can all have 1% each or something of the £1.50 that the videos make. Oh, I heard it was the first 40-ish characters, said Grace. Good point about the date, Sean. I'm guilty of that myself. Yeah, pointless having the date in my daily diaries. Or certainly shouldn't be at the beginning, probably should be at the end if it's there at all. Oh, Carrie Sparks. Hello, Carrie. The Travelodge is Merthyr Tydfil Leisure Village. God. Now, those are 4 words that I never expected to see or hear together. Merthyr Tydfil Leisure Village. God. Leisure Village. Now, when I was in Wales last, I know that there is a big retail park that opened on the outskirts of Merthyr on the Cardiff Road. I vaguely remember that because I remember the artist formerly known as Mrs. Boaty bought me a pair of trousers from the TK Maxx that was there. I've not spent a lot of time in Merthyr. It's not somewhere that I used to go, to be honest. I spent a lot of time at Dowlais Top because that's where I used to go shopping and where I will go shopping again. The Asda at Dowlais Top is one of my favorite supermarkets in the world, only because it's perched there effectively on top of a mountain, which is just wonderfully innocuous. And I enjoy that about it very much. It's rather nice to look out on the car park and look out on what are now the green tops of the mountains, although they didn't used to be when I was a child. They used to be open cast coal mines, but I think they've all been covered up and replanted now. So I'm not sure where Merthyr Tydfil Leisure Village is, but I mean, you know, maybe Merthyr's wonderful now. Maybe it's all been done up. Merthyr had a reputation back in my day of, how can we put it, not being the best place. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to go and see. It'll be interesting to have a look around Aberdare as well, and Hiriwine. And a question I would like answered, Sean, if you're still watching or if you watch this on catch up, how do you pronounce Hiriwine? Now, my father, who is a native Welsh speaker, always pronounced it Hirwin. Hirwin. It's spelt, if you don't know, Hirwaun. And before he became incredibly successful on a bicycle, my father raced for Hiriwine. It was his local club. He then went on to, you know, when he became blah, blah, blah. But that was his, well, actually, I think oh, hello, Sean's back. Hold on. Hold on, let me stick you on to Speakerphone. Hello, Sean.
Hirwain.
Yeah, you pronounce it properly. Yeah. Say it again.
Hirwain.
Yeah. Now that is how I pronounce it. But my father always pronounced it Herwin. And he said
And I
that.
would always pronounce it, the other one, Rikos. But I know other people call it Rigos.
Oh, do they? No.
Depends.
No.
Depends how posh you are.
Oh, is that what it is? Now, my grandparents, who were both, Welsh was their first language. They always pronounced it Rikos. There was no hri. It was Rikos.
Well, I found out on the weekend, apparently on top of the Rikos mountain, there are deer and wild boar.
Really?
They escaped from Markham Park about 6 years ago.
Oh, Godfathers. Oh, okay. Oh, that'd be an interesting thing to go and have a look at, wouldn't it?
Well, you can try and search out the truffles.
Yes. Yeah. But why? Why would local people pronounce it Herwin? It can't have just been my father, because you know the way that peer groups work. You wouldn't.
Unless he just did it to wind people up.
I wonder. I wonder, or I wonder if it's a local thing, whether the locals deliberately mispronounce it or something. I honestly don't know, and this is something I would genuinely love to find out, because I asked.
Well, you could go into the local shop and ask a few people.
Yeah, what a good idea! What a good idea! I would genuinely love to know, because in terms of the Welsh pronunciation, there's no question, is there? I mean, WAUN is wine.
Yeah.
Now, where we lived was wine grun, WAUNGRON, and Dad pronounced that wine grun. So, and the first time I knew, I grew up, and as far as I was always concerned, it was Herwin. So all the time that I grew up, it was Herwin. And then when I started doing a bit of stuff with BBC Wales, the announcers were calling it Hirwain. And I thought, well, yeah, that makes sense. Why would it not be Hirwain? And of course, my father was alive then. I don't think my grandparents were, but my father was. And I said, why do you call it? I said, we all call it Herwin. We all called it Herwin. So, yeah.
Unless it is something from the very old Welsh, because I live by a place called Blaencwm.
Yeah.
But in recent years, people have called it Blaenacwm, which is the original Welsh from 150 years ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, here's an interesting question for you. There's been a debate in Wales, I'm aware, over the renaming, renaming is perhaps the wrong word, but the Brecon Beacons being named back into the original Welsh name. Where do you stand on that?
I said in one of my early videos when I moved here that I didn't have an opinion, but since then I've changed it.
Okay.
And I think that Welsh should be the first one on signs, and English should be second, and that everything should revert back to the Welsh. So I don't know what it is, but Snowdonia has been changed. Because if you go to Italy, you wouldn't expect them to accommodate English first.
No, absolutely not. Well, it's
so I think everything should change. So we would say I'm going to Cardiff rather than going to Cardiff for the day.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But because I think if you look at it in that way, if you went to Italy or if you went to France, why should English be so arrogant that it needs to be on the top?
I said exactly that on my.
Surely you're going to those countries to experience it.
I said exactly that on my personal Facebook post. I highlighted. I made a bit of a joke of it, but I did highlight the Welsh language, and I was saying that in Wales we accommodate the English by adding the English after we put the correct Welsh. And I said that it's typical of the arrogant English that they don't return the compliment by adding Welsh translations to all English signs.
Yes, because, well, I feel when you go to a country, you need to learn a bit of the language. So when I went to Spain, I learned a bit of Spanish.
Yeah.
When I went to France, even though I only went to France for 2 days, I learned a bit of it. I'm now trying to learn a bit of Welsh.
I was going to, I mean, firstly, I agree with you. I've lived in a variety of countries, and I've always done my very best to at least learn a modicum of the language. I spent more time in France than anywhere else, so my French is fairly good. But
it was quite funny. I went into a shop in Spain. I asked for what I wanted in Spanish, and she said, "Hold on, love. I come from the north of England. Let me go and get Giuseppe or whoever it was."
Well, it's a generational thing in Spain, isn't it?
Also, the thing that I've noticed since I've been back, so it'll be interesting to see if you see it as well. How can I put it? Talking Welsh and celebrating the Welsh things was always, 30 years ago when I was a kid, was always a North Wales thing. Further into Wales you went, and further north you went, that was Old Wales. What I've noticed since I've been back this time is it's in the valleys now. So the Shropshire didn't celebrate St. Valentine's Day. They celebrated the Welsh equivalent, which is in January the 23rd or something.
St. Dinwin's Day.
That's the biggest change that I've seen.
Yeah, I always celebrate that, and always have done. Excuse me. That is an interesting one, because there is a north-south divide in Wales. Quite a light-hearted one, but from my memory, it's always been there. And I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, then North Wales was Gogland, and we always referred to the North Welsh as Gogs. Did you?
Well, in North Wales, they talk about through their noses, you know.
Yeah.
They talk about like that. And, oh, you're from South Wales and you can't speak Welsh? Oh.
You do. Yeah. So I was going to ask you, so are you a native Welsh speaker then?
I was, until I went to comprehensive school, and then I just lost it.
Right. Well, so what age was that? Sort of
about 12. So I can sing it and I can understand it, but I'm just learning how to write it and how to speak it back.
So did you go to Welsh school to begin with?
No.
Okay.
And I think that I failed the exam to be taught Welsh by a point.
Oh, right.
I think it should be taught anyway.
I agree, 100%.
But
were your parents Welsh speaking?
My father knew Old Welsh.
Okay. But English was their first language?
Yeah. So there are a few words that are quite funny in Welsh, like microwave is through a pop to ping.
Oh, that's it's not really though, is it? That's a bit of
no, but if it gets people into it.
Yeah.
And jellyfish, I've learned recently, is called piscodau, wibbly wobbly.
Yes. Yeah. It's now that's really interesting. Now, is your village Welsh speaking, or was it when you were a child predominantly?
No, it is more Welsh speaking now.
Ah, interesting. Now, my village was a Welsh speaking village. Welsh was predominantly and generally the first language. Every religious service at all of the chapels was in Welsh. My family all had Welsh as a first language, but my own Welsh like you, I have completely lost. And like you, I can sing it. I can pronounce most of it. And I can understand some of it. But in terms of, in terms of actually speaking it, that has long gone.
When I went to a few of the chapel services in the last few months, they are now doing half. They're now doing half and half.
Okay.
Half Welsh, half English.
That's interesting because I'm trying to think where you would have been and where I would have been, because there was a long period where Welsh became a dead language, and then there was an effort to reintroduce it. And I think we're still on that reintroduction wave, aren't we? It's not that long ago that the Welsh government introduced a thing where in order for you to be employed by the Welsh civil service, you had to have a very basic grasp of Welsh.
What has struck me is there are more younger people now into Welsh here.
Right.
But for me, Nice would be seen as the countryside.
Nice.
I can't actually see the light because I'm on the phone. So
It's okay. We are back. It's obviously one of those nights here in the peak where the internet has decided to become intermittent. Yeah. Well, the last time I was there, then that was still the case. It was fields, it was rivers. It'll be interesting to see how much has changed. Now, of course, the Brecon Beacons, it is a national park, isn't it?
yes, but they have allowed more people to live there as long as the houses can't be seen.
Okay.
So from what I understand, if you wanted to build a house into the mountain and it couldn't be seen, you're allowed to go ahead and do that. And I think there is an alternative village within the Brecon Beacons, which the government allows you to have the land for 3 or 4 years, I think it is, and within that time you have to make a living off the land.
What an interesting idea.
It's called the One Planet Project, and so I think you rent the field out or something, but it's the building has to be built from the materials in the area, and then the building can't be seen from, so it's got to be hidden.
That must be of interest to you because that's exactly the sort of thing that you're passionate about, isn't it?
Yes, but I thought, let's go back to Wales first of all, and it's a lot easier to find out things from people face to face than on the internet.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So I wouldn't have found out that a farmhouse is going to become available in a year's time.
Yeah, of course, you told me about that when we spoke on the phone.
You can't take a car there because there isn't any road.
Oh,
but
you didn't.
But it's only like a 5-minute road, and it's on top of the Ricos.
Oh, is that where it is?
So that's why I came back. I thought I need to come back, and then you don't know where it's going to lead.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I've just taken on an allotment.
I saw that you were expecting to get the keys very soon.
And it's huge.
Right.
But it's also a 3-minute walk from the farmhouse.
Oh, okay. How far is it from your house then?
15-minute walk.
Oh, okay. That's easily doable.
It is one of these buildings where it's been there for 150 years, but unless you know about it, you wouldn't have a clue.
Right. I know a few places like that.
Because it's stuck in the woods. The new problem is now they are taking down a lot of the fir trees and making bark chippings and sending it off to Sweden. So parts of the mountain that have never been seen before are starting to be made visible. And there's a second farmhouse where the woman bought it 60 years ago so that she could hide away. But unfortunately, the woods around her, she doesn't own. And they've just cut all the trees down. So everybody in the entire valley can see when she comes out of her house.
Oh, God. Isn't it amazing how cyclical that is, though? Because, of course, in the open cast days, then the landscape was literally open like that. And then there was...
What's interesting is they're taking all these trees down. It's bringing more light into the valley.
Yeah.
They tell me that the weather has got better because it's not raining as much, because the old people would say we didn't have wet summers until they started planting all these trees.
Oh, really?
What I find quite fascinating, by chopping the trees down, you're seeing that the landscape is completely different to what I thought it was 30 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, this is turning into a bit of a Wales special.
Yes, it is. It is a bit Wales centric, isn't it? But there we are.
So I'll say Hoyle.
Okay. Slick tight, sir. No star. Where did I get to? Thanks, Sean, says Ben. Plenty for Boaty to cogitate. I've just cogitated. Oh dear. Right, darlings. I should possibly apologise if this live stream has become a bit Wales centric, but then in another way, I hope that you will forgive that, because it's quite a big thing for me. I'm obviously excited about it. I'm incredibly excited about meeting Sean. I love the fact that Sean has become part of our community, and we get a real... Not all of you will watch his videos, I'm sure, but I'm sure that a lot of you do, and it's great to get that behind the scenes insight. So I hope you will forgive the fact that there has been a little bit more of a mention of Wales of late. I think it's possibly a Monday thing. Tuesday through to Thursday, it's a later live stream, and it tends to be more of more of an us thing. So I hope you'll forgive it, and I hope that you will all share my excitement and whatnot, and kind of come on the journey with me, as it were. If that makes sense, when I do actually start doing it, because you can be sure that one thing that won't change: Monday night there's going to be a hotel live stream, and there will be vodka. So you're still going to get all of that sort of thing, and there we are. It's lovely speaking to Sean. It's like yeah. Oh, Andrew turned up. Andrew turned up. Jolly good. Purple Hat Games says hello. Oh, John Stoodley. Everybody's turning up now. John Stoodley's here. Hey, Boaty. Hey, chap. From Skegness on a very cold night, says John. Yeah, John, bless him, is with his family, I think, in his caravan in Skegness. And I was very glad to read that, John. I'm glad that you've got that change of scenery, that you've got that time away. I'm sure the fresh coastal air will do the world of good. And but I also imagine that it will be a bit bittersweet, because if you remember, guys, and I think I'm right in saying this, the caravan was a co-project with John and his best friend. And of course, very sadly, the best friend in question passed away quite recently. And, you know, after a period of appropriate grief and mourning, John decided that he was going to keep the caravan on in his friend's memory. So I imagine it's a bit of a bittersweet time for you, John, but I hope you're really enjoying your break. Purple Hat Games says hello, and I happen to know that Purple Hat Games is Simone. So good evening, Simone. How are you? Andrew Buttygig has joined us. Ivor Spotty Butty. A very good evening, Boaty and everyone. I forgot about the early start. You can be forgiven. Yeah, Mondays is 10. Joe says, I do miss your old videos, mate. The daily diaries are a bit of the same thing. I agree. I also miss the weekly Sunday fleet updates. I'd forgotten I used to do those. I agree about the daily diaries, but, never fear, that is all about to change. It was just a winter thing. Next winter, I won't make the same mistake. Hopefully, the Welsh thing will take off a bit this year. Other things might happen as well. By the time next winter comes, we might have bought the restaurant building and upstairs, and there might be, a thriving Airbnb up there, or I might have moved in there personally, or I might have a bit more money to play with, but I'm not going to make the same mistake next winter. This winter, I've just hibernated, to be honest. I've gone to work and I've asked about in the cottage and I've done nothing else. Next winter, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to hide away. I'm not going to hibernate. Winter can be beautiful here in the Peak. It can be beautiful in Wales. Next winter, we will get out and about and I'll make sure there's content other than the bloody boring daily diaries. But Joe goes on. But your videos are definitely not rubbish. Otherwise, you wouldn't have 6,000 subs. I think a lot of that is down to the live streams, to be honest. And yeah. It's interesting looking where the subs came from. I went through quite a long period where I was sticking a load of different type of videos up, and I was getting a lot of subscriptions because people would watch a video, think I like this, they would subscribe, but the next 20 videos would be something totally different. What I have noticed is that over the winter, when I have just been doing the daily diaries and whatnot, then my subs are now not increasing at all. All right, this month I had a massive down swipe in subs because YouTube had a purge of closed accounts or suspected dodgy accounts, and I lost 200 subscribers in the space of 24 hours. But, that's just a YouTube thing. But I'm getting nowhere near the subscribers that I used to get. And the reason for that is that I've been a bit lazy. I've been putting out stuff that is either rubbish or is only going to appeal to the people that know me, and it's not going to pull any new people in. And I'm aware of that, and I'm aware that I've been treading water. I wanted to keep the thing going with me and you guys, and I was aware that the channel as a whole was going to stall. But I've always had this vision into the future of what I'm going to do, and that all kicks off on the 8th of next month. 2 weeks today, darlings. 2 weeks from today, I will, at this time, midnight, I won't be talking to you here from Windy Bottom. I will be in, probably, the leisure village in Merthyr Tydfil. And I'll have a load of content in the can from the family mountain and driving to Wales, which will only be 2 or 3 minutes maximum, because I listened to Sean and he's quite right. And I've done that in the past. Endless driving videos. Got to cut that out. It's got to be. And I had a long chat with Mustard about this. I had a great day with Mustard today. Really good day. And we talked very openly about a lot of stuff. Some of it in the videos. There'll be 4 or 5 videos coming out from today. A lot of it isn't, to be honest. And he gave me some advice as well that I specifically asked for. And yeah, I've got to up my game. I've got to be more snappy in the editing. Now, believe it or not, I know how to edit and I really enjoy editing. My problem with editing isn't my editing skills or my editing awareness. It's the content. So when I've got a load of good content, I can edit very well. I mean, look at the Jaguar video. Look at the Land Rover video. Not many other examples I can give you. But if you look at those, then I think they are perfectly edited. Feel free to disagree. because I had because I had plenty of good content to go with. What I've been doing over the winter is trying to make a video out of not enough content. So there's a load of crap on there. It'll be an absolute joy to have a right load of content and actually struggle to narrow it down. So yeah, 2 weeks from today, I'll have a load of content in the can, a load of stuff with Sean, and hopefully then on the Monday night, I'm going to be planning what I'm going to be doing with Sean the next morning and the next lunchtime and the next early afternoon before I have to bugger off and go back to the restaurant. And what I would love, wouldn't it be amazing if the videos did well enough that I could finally have 2 days off, or every other week have 2 days off? And we've got a potential other, it could potentially happen now in terms of logistics. There is somebody I could get in to replace me at the restaurant. And wouldn't that be wonderful if the videos did well enough that I could say, right, I'm having Monday and Tuesday off. And then I could have 2 full days in Wales, 2 nights, and back to work on Wednesday night. That's what Skik's been wanting me to do for ages. Have the extra night off, use the time to concentrate on YouTube and actually get some decent stuff going out rather than just relying on the rubbish. And wouldn't it be great if that could happen? Now, in an ideal world, I would just take the gamble and I would just say, right, from now on, Mondays and Tuesdays off, and I would start from episode 1, 2 nights. I can't afford to do it. If I could afford to do it, believe me, I would. And maybe I should have sold a car so that I could afford to do it and really give this Welsh thing its best chance. Maybe. But let's get the first one sorted. And if the video comes together well, or even if I have a fantastic time and plan either on my own or with Sean a load of stuff that we should do, then if that happens, right, okay, here's my promise to you and to me. It is a promise. If the first one is promising, or even if the video is crap pants, even if I ask it all up, but if I love it and it means something to me, and there are plans for we should do this and this and this and this, and time becomes an issue, then fuck it. Fuck it. I will drop the Tuesday nights at the restaurant and I'll find a way to pay for it. I'll sell a car, I'll sell an internal organ, I'll work on the docks on it. Fuck it, I'll do it. There we go. Right, let's catch up with your comments. You wonderful people, you're bearing with me while I'm banging on about all of this. So we've just said hello to Simone. Wine o'clock, says Ben. God, well, it's 50 minutes past wine o'clock. Hello again, says Captain Mustard. Oh, Mustard's back. That candle is deceased. It's still flickering. There's still a flicker of life, although it has splurged itself all over my table. Black lines. The multicolored car is back in chat again, says Trace. I think I mentioned him once, but I think I got away with it. The candle has peed itself, says Simone. Manifold meat Monday is amongst us, says Ben. Oh dear. What did the grape say when it got stood on? Asked Andrew. Not much, just a little wine. Oh dear, there we are. What did the green grape say to the purple grape? Breathe, damn it, breathe. Black lines, where are these coming from? Oh, don't worry, Sophie, it doesn't matter. It was fine. Don't worry about that. God, I am a... Never heard of it, says Sean. I'm not sure. God, I'm so far behind in comments. I'm not sure what he's actually never heard of. I've never actually been to Wales, says Black Lions. What's the matter with you, boy? Right, come with me. And that's an invitation to all of you, right? If you've never been to Wales, or you haven't seen enough of Wales, or I don't know, whatever, come to Wales with me. Let's have a community thing in the summer holidays or whenever you can get some time off. I will be your personal tour guide. I'll try and get sponsorship from the Welsh Tourist Board if the videos do okay. More to the point, the wine is doing okay, so that's okay. Touring Wales in a camper van, says Sean. That would be my dream come true. Touring Wales in a camper van. That would actually be a dream come true. In the meantime, I have thought about, Sean, are you still watching? I bet you've gone to bed, haven't you? But touring Wales in a Land Rover would be rather fun. And how's this for a bit of content thought? I have 2 matching Land Rovers. Technically, one is my personal car, one is a company car, but I've made arrangements for it to come to me. So how about Land Rover touring in the around Wales, and Land Rover lunches are a thing that I've already done. Outdoor cooking, Sean. I've got all of the tables and chairs and cooking equipment and all of that because I had this Land Rover lunch ideal. So I mentioned this in a text. Borrow one of the Land Rovers, and we'll do some Land Rover touring, both together and individually. But in a camper van, oh God, I'd love to do that. Can't believe... Oh, Neil. Yeah, totally. I've arranged with Mustard that what I want to do basically is sort of somewhere around episode 2, 3, or 4. I want to take a Land Rover to Wales, but I thought I won't take mine. I won't take Miss Boo. I'll take the company Land Rover because then I can turn it into a sales video as well. Or I did think if Sean was interested, I thought about lending it to him for him to have a play with around the old Welsh mountains. And I did actually send him a text suggesting it. But yeah, I'd love you to fix it up. It needs, but then that kind of depends on timing. So I know that you're a busy chap. And Mustard thinks that the smokiness is possibly he now thinks it's the turbo rather than the whatever it was, valves, was it? No, injectors. And I don't know how big a job a turbo is on the well, it's the M47R engine, isn't it? Is it the M47 or the M47R on the Freelander? Is it the M47R as in the Rover 75, or is it the M47 as in the standard BMW one? I don't know. But that is the plan to get the Land Rover here. Oh, brilliant. Oh, that's good news. Apparently the turbo is a piece of cake. Well, Neil, you and I will have to talk about this because the plan is to get the Land Rover here. What I'm basically thinking is that, excuse me, Andy Pandy is going to be due for MOT sometime within the next 3 or 4 weeks. And I want to get the other Freelander here so that I can valid it up, clean it up, tidy it up, do some of the cosmetic bits and pieces, put a stereo in it, just get it ready and sorted and nice. So my basic plan is, and I've said to Mustard, and he's agreed, that the Land Rover will come to me and I'll play with it and I'll make videos with it, take it to Wales and whatnot. So my basic idea was, I thought, well, I'll take Andy Pandy, leave Andy Pandy with Mustard for MOT, and it is going to need some work for the MOT. At the very least, it's going to need a CV boot and, you know, who knows what else. But it's my long-term car. I'm committed to it. So whatever it needs for the MOT will be done. But so the idea is take that, leave that there. You know, it's taxed. It doesn't have to be in the yard. It can be on the road. It doesn't have to get in the way. Bring the Land Rover back, play with the Land Rover, get a stereo sorted in it, really tidy up the interior, valet it within an inch of its life. I'm really rather fond of that thing. So Neil, if you could be involved and get it and get the spring sorted or get it running properly before I took it to Wales, that would be amazing. I could bring it down to you, or if you had time and you wanted to come up here, then there's a spare room. I'll lavish you with enough Momo to keep you and Sophie going for the next 6 months. That would be grand. So yeah, that is a bit of a Land Rover plan. To me, Wales and Land Rovers kind of go together, and there is history there. When I first took the cottage in Wales, first bought it, then the car that lived there was okay, mate, sorted. Might be a bit big for the pits. I'm not sure if it'll fit in there, but I'll try. If not, then pole position. Yeah, there is Land Rover history. When I first bought the cottage in Wales, and I should explain, I'm not sure if I've explained this before, but it will come out in the videos. The cottage that I bought in Wales, it's not really a cottage. It's more of a bungalow. I'll explain that. And I didn't buy it in the normal way. What happened was my grandparents, as people do, passed away. My grandmother first, and then quite a long time afterwards, my grandfather. At the time my grandfather passed away, then my father inherited everything, a reasonably substantial amount of money and the property. And I said to Dad, I had money then, and I said to Dad, I don't care about anything else, but I want the. He didn't want it. He didn't want to go back home. My mum was still alive then. They had, well, you know, yeah. And Dad had no interest in the place in Wales. He never wanted to go back to Wales. He never wanted to reconnect, didn't want anything to do with it. And I said, I don't care about anything else. I don't care about the money. You have it. You retire now. Dad was still working then, didn't want to work, never wanted to work, my father. I said, you retire, spend the money, spunk it, do what you want, buy cars, think of a shit. I said, but I want the house. But I said, I will buy it. I will actually buy it so that you're not losing out, kind of thing. So that's what happened. My cottage in Wales, it wasn't really a cottage, as you will see, because I'm going to film it. And B, I didn't buy it in the normal way. I bought it from my father, who inherited it from his father, kind of thing. So, frozen the wine. So that's all a bit convoluted. Why was I telling you about that? Oh yeah, because when I first bought it, and it was a weekend and holiday place for me and Maggie and the kids. I was married when all of this happened. Was I married? I might not have been married, but I was with Maggie. Might have been before we got married. I can't honestly remember. But the first car that lived at the cottage and lived there for a long time was a Land Rover, specifically a Range Rover Classic 3.9 V8, quite a nice one. And I bought that. Again, it came as a part exchange on the pitch, and I just bought it out of the company because I thought, that is my Welsh car. I love Range Rovers. And I bought that, took it to Wales. Maggie drove, so we took 2 cars there, 1 car back. And the Range Rover lived in Wales. That was the Welsh car. And so when we went to Wales, I'll show you all of this on the video. We parked at the bottom of Winegron, and we used the Range Rover when we were there. I taught all of the kids to drive in the Range Rover on the Rickhouse Industrial Estate, actually. That was their first driving experience, driving a 3.9 litre V8 Range Rover. And the Range Rover lived there for a long, long time, and it would still be there now, except that I lent it to my gardener in Wales when his vehicle failed and he couldn't afford to repair it. And I said, you know, he was a nice lad. And I said, and he had a family, he had kids. And I said, use the Range Rover until you get yourself sorted, which he did. And I don't know how he did it, but he managed to write it off, crashed it. And to this day, I don't know how he did it or what happened, because he never told me. I never heard from him again. I got a text message or phone call from one of the neighbours saying, I don't know what's happened, but your Range Rover is down at the bottom and it's smashed up. And sure enough, when we went there the next time, that's what had happened. My Range Rover was smashed up. I never heard from my gardener again. He never replied to any text or phone calls. I didn't actually know where he lived specifically. And that was a real shame. I wasn't bothered about the Range Rover, to be honest. I mean, I was, but I wasn't overly bothered because, you know, I can just replace it. The gardener, he was a nice lad. He was a lovely lad. And I'm convinced to this day that he was so embarrassed and shameful that he'd smashed up the car. Maybe he didn't have insurance or something. I don't know. And that was why he never ever spoke to me again. And I hated the idea that he might feel like that. Because if he'd have spoken to me, I'd have said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's a heap of metal. Are you okay? Are your family okay? Don't worry about it. And I never got the chance to do that. And also, I lost a really good gardener who I liked and trusted, and who was doing an amazing job at the cottage. Llanor, I should call it Llanor. That was the name. And we had an arrangement where he did work on the garden for me at a reduced rate, because the back garden of Llanor was always the front garden was there for show. It was beautiful, perfectly manicured, amazing flower beds, beautiful. My grandparents' pride and joy. Whereas the back garden was my grandfather's domain, and he grew everything there. There was a greenhouse, and all of the salad, fruit and vegetables that they ate was all grown in the back garden. And I wanted that to return. And my gardener, I can't remember what his name was. It might have been Kerry. I think it was Kerry. But the Welsh Kerry, Ceri, boy's name. That was what he wanted as well. So I said, well, use my garden. I would love for my garden to be returned to effectively an allotment. And I said, you know, use it, do it for that. Take the food for your family, and when we're there, we'll take a little bit, and please do. And that's what we were doing. And I would love for that to have carried on. But as I say, after the Range Rover mysteriously got smashed up, never heard from him again. Where did I get to? In the old comments. I'm falling asleep at the wheel, says Dino Dad. Can't believe the knob's still going. And the candle's doing very well too, says Grace. He's so far back on the comments now, says Simone. He's always behind Simone, says Joe. Skik says, Brian would have brought you 200 quid if you would have scrapped it. Yeah, it would, Skik, and that was my original plan. Please don't sell Stigbutt Boaty, says John Studley. It would break my heart. Sell them all, says Dino Dad, and buy an old van and put a mattress in it. Yes, van life, says Black Lines. You know, that's always been my plan. If anything went wrong with here, Windy Bum, and I lost Windy Bum, that was actually genuinely, and still is, my plan. Okay, now there's the place above the restaurant. But my plan was always I would sell the cars, buy a van life. Fred the Shed would make an ideal camper when fixed and MOT worthy, says Joe. Fred the Shed, I'm afraid, is going, darlings. That's one of the things that came out from today's efforts. Fred is going. Simone's off, going to sleep. I'm sure you're all going to sleep. Nothing wrong with a Wales special, says Bennett. It's a special place after all. I agree. I can edit a video with no content to something cool, says Mustard. And yeah, you can actually. Is this true, Jimmy Quinn? Jimmy Quinn says Kaya Philly had the biggest porn magazine factory in the UK. Only an hour behind now, says Trace. I think Boaty should go on streaming for another hour. What does everyone else think? Yes, Trace, says Andrew. An hour behind on the comments, I mean, says Trace. Phone him, Tracy, says Jimmy. Time added for miscreant behaviour, says Ben. No, I'm not ringing him, says Trace. We'd be here at 4 a.m. Norma Butler, where are you? God, I've caught up with the comments. Video title, 2 hours about Wales. Yeah, it has been very Wales-centric, but sorry, hashtag not sorry. Title, One Man in His Van, Wales or Bust. If Fred's going, grab the fuel filter and injectors off it. They will fit the Freelander. Ah, okay. Interesting. Oh, right. I'm exhausted now. Okay, time to start saying your good night, darlings. Right. Some of you might not have liked tonight's live stream. I personally have loved it. But it might have been a bit self-indulgent. And if it has, then thank you for bearing with me. And I will make sure that the rest of the week is about you guys. I promise you. How is that candle still alive? I don't know, but it is. It's still going. Look at it. I've actually had a really good day. And it didn't start well. I don't know how much to share with you guys. I've had toothache for the last 2 weeks. Really bad toothache, you know, and takes some doing to have toothache when you've got as few teeth left as I have. And then on Friday morning, I woke up and it took me a while to realize that there was no pain. For 2 weeks, the first thing I've done when I've come downstairs is to take painkillers because the pain in my mouth was so great that I couldn't even think, let alone anything else. And Friday morning, I woke up and there was no toothache. And when I realized, I thought, thank God, thank you. Saturday morning, I woke up and there was no toothache. And I thought, thank you, FSM. I can actually concentrate on life now rather than on pain and pain management. Sunday morning, God poked at me with his noodly appendage and gave me, and I apologise for this, a hemorrhoid. Sunday morning, I woke up and my arse had exploded. And this morning when I woke up, my arse was still in a right old 2 and 8. So I was a bit grumpy when I woke up, and and then I was late getting up as well, so I was all a bit rushed and flustered, which put me in a worse mood. And then I had the worst journey to the yard, stuck behind an incredibly slow truck that was it was a sugar lorry, and it was down to 15 miles an hour as soon as the road was anything other than dead flat or downhill. Don't worry, I didn't film it. There is no filming of going to the yard today. You can be excused that. So I was in a really bad mood when I got to the yard. And just as the day went on, my mood just got better and better and better and better. And I'm going to bed a very happy bunny. I've loved this live, even if some of you haven't. I've really enjoyed it. Exhausted Boaty, says Jimmy Quinn, you've done fuck all. Well, Jimmy, I would argue with that. I've been short-staffed at the restaurant, and we've had a really busy weekend. So I've had a very hard weekend's work. And then on my day off, when I'm supposed to rest, I've got up, I've driven to the yard, I've had a full day at the yard, come back here, and I've done a 2 hour and 13-minute live stream. So I don't think it's fair to say that I've done well. I know what you mean. It's got staying power, that candle has, says Ben. Must be because it's on the pottering station. Yeah, there were some comments about the table and white stuff on the table that I can't repeat. As we all know, the table has seen a bit of action. In fact, this is the kind of stuff. This is why I should stop this live stream now, because I've got too much wine inside me and I've become slightly disinhibited. I was genuinely thinking about this the other night when I was driving somewhere, and I was thinking about how much action this table has seen, but specifically which personages it's seen. And I was going through a mental roll call of the people that have had a close encounter with the table. And there were quite a few that I'd forgotten, to be honest. So would I if my house exploded, says Andrew. Miss Emma Royds is expecting you. Please go straight through. Look, it's horrible. It's horrible. I need a padded cushion. It's a very unpleasant thing. It's a new experience for me, and I'm not enjoying it. 29 likes. Let's do more, says Mustard. Is it 29? Oh, 31 now. That's very nice. Oh, here's a name I don't recognise. Kunai. Evening, Boaty. Been having fun today with my Pectron-equipped Rover. What a pile of junk. Alarm going mental when I'm driving on the M4. Yeah, I think that is a Pectron thing. Now, I've noticed that on every facelift or Pectron-equipped car that I've got, there are alarm issues. Either the alarm will go off randomly when you least expect it, or in more than one car I've had, the alarm thing has been taped up, presumably to try and stop things. Yeah. Pectrons are not great. The only positive thing I'm now discovering about pectrons is I keep standing up and sitting down and ouch, ouch. God, I'd almost rather have the toothache back, to be honest. Wouldn't it be nice if I could just oh, you don't get this when you're young. If you're younger than me watching this and you wake up and for a whole day not one part of your body is in chronic pain, be thankful, embrace it, enjoy it. Oh, God almighty. My gob's been non-stop agony for God knows how long, and now my arse is a right disaster area. Bloody hell. I poked the like doings when I joined the chat, says Andrew. But yeah, so can I sympathise with your pectron pesky problems. I had a close encounter with that table, says Project Nigel. Yeah, not that kind of close encounter, Mustard. I mean, you've had many close encounters with the table. You've eaten many meals on it, and you might have tripped over it on your way up to the loo or something. Well, that's good, Jimmy. It's good that you could get a degree about Wales. Do you the world of good. A rubber donut, says Andrew. Title, Welsh Encounters of the Table Kind, says Trace. Who also says, I feel that needs more work, but I will screenshot that. Apologies for my hemorrhoid making a late entrance. And I think that burp, together with the talk about my somewhat compromised back bottom, is a clear signal to all of us that this live stream really should end at this point, and we should happily reconvene tomorrow night at 11 o'clock when I will be wearing a suit. I will not be drunk. Hopefully my ass will be in a better condition, and where we won't talk about Wales quite so much or so consistently. I feel that I want to fart you out. Shall I fart you out tonight? I miss farting you out. Where is it now? Oh, I think that might be it. Let me take it over here and just check. Ah, there it is. I'm going to fart you out, darlings. Title, A Late Entrance by Emma Royd and the Maiden Burp. Wales, where men are men and sheep are frightened. Yeah. Come down to the rugby club and make that joke. Backspace invaded. Oh dear. Let me screenshot all of that. Source Sphincter, try Mr. Boaty's pottering loop for that relief you require. See you all tomorrow, says Mustard. And oh dear. I imagine that Mustard will be recommencing his live streaming duties tomorrow. I'm actually quite sorry that I miss out on them. I must say, I've had a great day with Mustard today. It's been brilliant. I hope you enjoy the videos that come out of it. I think that they were better than normal. We started the day with quite a serious and not confrontational, because we're two good friends for that. But we started the day with a quite unusually I don't know the right word for it, but a discussion of a more unusual nature where we were talking about something very specific, which wasn't filmed. And then just as the day went on, my mood improved and it just got better and better and better. And we've had some really good laughs. It was a lot more productive than might be seen from the videos, because in between all of the nonsense, we did talk about some much more serious stuff and made some made some plans for the future, got organized some car stuff as well, made some very definite plans for the cars, and had a lot of fun as well, and a good lunch. And we are still we are actually going to do a podcast. We've been promising it for a while. People have been asking it for a while. The plan is very much to make that happen. There should be a Mustard and Boaty cast. So it's been a really great day, and this has been a great way to end it. It's been one of the best days at the yard for ages, even though the weather was a bit pants. It was just a really good day. I mean, it's good to laugh, isn't it? It's good to be around somebody that you're close with and care about, and who cares about you. And you just have a laugh and relax, and it's all just wonderful. God, Trace. When I joined the earlier chat, says Andrew, talking about the live stream from this afternoon, the two of you were talking about Han Shandy's strange business talk. Well, yeah, I mean, to explain the live stream earlier today, we decided that we were going to have a serious business talk. And then because we are us, me and Mustard and Boaty, we decided that we'd do it on a live stream, which it was only going to go one way. But I can assure you, those of you who watched it, you might think that they were supposed to be having a proper business talk. They've done a live stream and they've played up for the camera. No, that is how our business talks go. Whether we're filming it or not, that is how our business talks go, which probably explains the state of our business, which means that we have a hell of a lot of fun, but we don't make a lot of money. Never mind. A shandy in the hand is worth 2 in the Roger body, says Ben. Oh, God. See, you're all on form now, and I don't want to go. Jimmy Quinn says, I would have, Boaty, 30 years ago. And Trey says, is that a confession, Jimmy? Are you also coming out? My homoerotic dreams are indeed coming true tonight. Or is that a title? I would have Boaty 30 years ago. God. Oh, gone down the rugby club, Tracy. I did like a punch up. Oh, dear. Well, there were plenty of those down at the rugby club. Oh, dear. Oh, and the candles hanging in there. Yeah, let's give a big shout out to the candle of lost penis, which is hanging on for grim death. You know what? I'm going to blow it out. And let's save what's left for tomorrow night, because God knows I haven't got another one. There we go. We will. Well, I've just cogitated. We will save what's left of that candle. I'm sorry about that. It's time that this live stream ended. Did you fall on that candle? Asked Neil. Is that why your arse is sore? And Trey says, to be fair, I've met men with less staying power than that candle. Oh dear. Name that tune, says Steve Hulk. And Jimmy says at 67, a paper bag would beat me. Jimmy, I'm a few years your junior, and I'm in the same boat. The last time I had a scrap was about 2 years ago, and it wasn't a scrap. And I was bloody lucky. I should never have got into it. Will you be giving the candle its last rite? No, we'll do that tomorrow. That I'm saving that exactly as it is. That pooled mess on the table is going to be tomorrow night's candle, if it will relight. Relight my candle. Your love is my only love handle, or something like that. God almighty. It's 26 minutes past midnight. I need to go and eat my Istanbul staff curry. Here it is, darlings. Istanbul staff curry and naan. It was Mustard's turn to pay for lunch today, which he did without hesitation, bless him. And I bought these myself. £6, very well spent. Little treat. And lunch tomorrow, I also have sorted. Lunch tomorrow is Momo. So how good is life? How lucky am I? I've got Istanbul staff curry for supper, and I've got Momo for lunch. And then I've got, work and stuff. And but then I've got you guys again tomorrow night, 11 o'clock. The polybox has all been eaten. Yeah, there it is. I finished that off at about 9 o'clock actually. I had the last few bits of kebab. I mean, they were not extra food, they were just leftovers from lunch. Oh, I must let you good people go. Thank you so much for tonight. It's been lovely catching up with you. Thank you. A massive thank you to Sean for ringing in. A massive thank you to Sophie for ringing in and sharing her pleasure at being in her new home. And a massive thanks to all of you for being here with me, for bearing with me when I've been banging on about, oh God, when I've been banging on about Wales, and means the world to me. Thank you. I know that I bang on. I know that it's not what a live stream should be about. I know I get behind on the comments, and I know that you only put up with it because you love me, and I love you for that. And I think it's wonderful. So, Jimmy, so thank you. Have a safe and peaceful night. Have the best day that you can tomorrow. Take great care of yourselves, darlings. And please, I would love you to join me again tomorrow night, 11 o'clock. And I will now, oh God, my phone's gone off. Oh, technology, eh? I will now gratefully and with thanks. Good night, darling. Good night, darling Mustard, who has just said good night, honey. Good night, sexy cheeks. Oh. I will now fart you out with enormous pleasure and gratitude. Oh, Trace, that's lovely. I need to read that. Good night, all, and thanks for being my lovely friends in my telebox. Oh, Andrew, Ivor, I so agree. Shame about not being able to read the comments on replay. I don't know what all that's about. You used to be able to press a little switch, and the live stream comments were there when you rewatched it. It just doesn't seem to be possible anymore. But I can't find anything from YouTube saying that, yeah, this is not possible anymore. And everything I'm finding is saying the same as it used to, where you go into your doings, press this, and the comments are there to be read. But I never turned that off. That was always activated. I can't activate it for mine. and I can't see it on anybody else's. So I assume that YouTube have just got rid of it, which is a massive shame, because it means that if you don't watch the live stream live, you can't see what happened in the comments, and that just takes it all away. Maybe that's why they've done it, to try and get you to watch it live, but it's a massive shame, and I regret that very much. Oh, Trace says you can wait for 24 hours. You can't, Trace. You can't see it anymore. And I can't find any way to get it to happen again. It's been that way for about a month now, if not more. I mean, if anybody has seen, do please let me know. If anybody can see live comments on anybody else's live stream now, then let me know, because that means it's possible to make it happen, and I just need to work out how. But as far as I'm aware, as far as I'm aware, it is no longer possible to read the live comments on the live stream after the live stream is ended. I can't do it on my own live streams or on anybody else's. So, but that's weird. Tracy's saying that she can. I can't. Unless it's not a browser versus app thing, is it? It's not a thing. Is it a thing where you can see it on a browser, but you can't see it on the app? There's a setting somewhere. Ben can see it too, says Trace. I know there used to be a setting in your live stream control box where you switch it so that live comments are on. Now, I did that. You've always been able to see my live comments when you watch the live streams after. And at some point, about a month ago or somewhere thereabouts, that stopped. The setting is no longer there. Maybe app, etc. I am on PC. Well, I'll tell you what, let's check this live. I will now go on to, so I'm not going to see your comments for the next 2 minutes, and I am going in a minute, don't worry. Right. I will, as a viewer, I will go onto the app, not onto the app, I will go into a browser. I will go into YouTube. I will go into one of my old live streams from, right, I'll go into Wednesday Night Live from last week. Let's have a look at it. Oh, Trace. Oh, bless you. You are right. Live chat replay is on. Messages that appeared when the stream was live will show up here. Oh. Trace, thank you. Okay. Right. Let's get rid of that. Let's bring you back here. Let's press that. Right. Okay. So, for those of you like me who thought that you cannot see the live comments, it is an app thing. If you watch on a browser, hang on, what's Ben saying? All of Boaty's, Mustard's, and Simon's live streams have replay comments available to me. App on Android and browser on Windows PC. Yes, they've not gone, says Trace. I bet some viewers need to go to a browser or change browser, or they've clicked the chat box off. Right, okay. I can tell you for certain that on the Apple app, you cannot see the live comments. I've just checked on the on a browser, and I can. And Ben is saying that he can see them on an Android app. So it looks as though it might just be the Apple app thing. So if you can't see the comments when you rewatch a live stream, then do rewatch on a browser. If you're on Apple or if you're on an Android, you should be fine. So there we are. There we are. That's a really good thing. That is a really good thing. It's good to know that they're still available, and I need to add that in the description somewhere. So because there might be a lot of people watching on Apple devices thinking, well, I'm not going to watch this because I can't see the comments. I can't see comments on my Android app because the operating system is too old. Okay, right. Now, darlings, oh, my phone's gone off again. It really is time to go. It's 37 minutes past midnight. 2 hours and 37 minutes this rubbish has been going. And most of it has been about Wales, and I've absolutely loved it. And I absolutely love all of you. So, I miss doing that. Good night, darlings. Thank you so much. I couldn't love you any more than I do. But you, and indeed, bosh. Oh, see you tomorrow, 11 o'clock. Please be there.